let's go ahead and start with Percy. Percy, go ahead and kick us off here.
Awesome. Hey, Coach, I got two things order for you, if you can. Hey, I'm curious about Candace Dupree, and if you could tell me a bit about the conversation when you talked to a 7-time All-Star who has started, I want to say, all but one game since her rookie year, about coming off the bench. How does that happen, and how do you approach her with that, and what was her reception during that conversation?
Well, I went over to talk to her after the first game, and she actually initiated it with me. It was a conversation I wanted to have with her, but she actually initiated it with me. That's how special this player is. She recognized that there's some matchups that's really hard for us with her and Stewie, especially when you're talking about the Cambasias of the world and the Fouls of the world. Now we're going to start her tonight. We feel like the matchups are a little better. I do want to get her into a similar role as much as I can. I'm very much about that, but it's probably going to take till about next week. Sadie's and I had kind of worked out a plan to kind of get her up to speed by next week. So it may take till then, till we can get solidified and all those kind of things. But, Candace actually initiated that with me in a conversation that I had before, right after the game one. And, she knows she's going to play her minutes. She just knows that the matchups, and especially when you're talking about the Fouls and Cambasias of the world, those are, you want to have as big a five as you can.
Like those sort of conversations, and just even dealing with that, can they be precarious, just in the sense that you're still dealing with somebody who is a very proud athlete, and and like has had success in this league in a certain way, and now she is coming off the bench, and it could be totally different for them?
Well, I think they look at it differently, to be honest with you. I think they want to roll, they want to make a difference, but I think most of all they want to play on it. I think she wanted to play on a team that gave her the option, to play around some other players that were a player like a Breanna Stewart and so on, that she could join forces with, in whatever role she took. But, she's a pro. I mean, she gets it. She knows that she's important to us. And my job is, and as soon as I can get players set, in camp and all that, is to give her when we talked yesterday, and I said, I'd like you to start this game because of the matchups, what have you. And, she and I both agreed the thing we want to do is give her the ability to have a mentality to prepare for what she's probably going to do the rest of the year. And so we'll kind of, once we get to that stage, we'll try to get her in a slot so she's preparing herself mentally. But she's here to win basketball games. She's here to play an important role. And I think Candace would tell you that, because when she approached me, she definitely I could tell she just cares to be an important part of this team, whether it's a starting role or one coming off the bench.
All right, Coach. Awesome. Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks, Percy. Jeff Brown, go ahead, Jeff.
Hey, Coach, you might have touched on it a little bit during the opening statement, but what are 2 to 3 keys to this game to get the victory today?
Well, they're a team that in our transition defense will probably get challenged as much as it has all year from the standpoint of ball advancement with Agumawali, especially when she's pushing it in situations. And so our transition defense is going to need to be good in this situation. The other thing that I think our team needs that just rely more about us is, the 2 games we have rebounded well, the 2 games we have won. The 1 game we didn't rebound as well. That's one we weren't. And the other thing, and a real hidden one, if you just look at how this season has played out, it's everybody knows we're good at the 3-point line, but not allowing teams to either get to the foul line or getting ourselves to the line. And our fourth quarter the other day was a lot about us using the foul line as part of our play. So we can't let teams separate by getting to the foul line a whole bunch and us not getting there. We ended up 21-20 after we had only shot 6 free throws the first 3 quarters. So I think those 3 things, 2 relative to us and 1, our transition defense is going to get tested, and we need to be good.
Absolutely. And then what have you, obviously it's just the 1 game so far, but what have you seen out of Charlie Collier, the number 1 pick overall?
Versatile, a double-double in her first game against LA on the road. Normally rookies, maybe, they may give you a home performance that they're real comfortable, but to go on the road and do that. But her length, her high skill, she's somebody that can face up and score as well as in the basket area at that point. And she rebounds outside her body, goes and gets balls. So she's a very deserving of the pick that she was at. And, it looks to me like she's going to be a very good pro.
Awesome. And then I saw Piff is activated for today's game. Do you think she should see some time in the rotation?
Yeah, I want to. We'll be open-minded about it. It's not going to be normal kind of rotation, but yeah, we'll be open-minded. I thought in the other day, we did the same thing with Sadie's, and we haven't really practiced with Piff yet, not in a real engaged situation. But she is, familiar from a year ago, and we spent a little time this morning scripting with her a little bit to get her caught up. So we'll just see how it goes. It's the way of the world for us this week is that, we put players on the court that have not practiced with us. I don't think I've ever had 2. I may have done 1 in the past, but she will be number 2 because I look to play her some tonight.
Okay. Thank you, Coach.
Yep.
Hey, thanks, Jeff. Kevin Felton, go ahead, Kevin.
Hey, Coach, you mentioned Dupree at center. Do you stick with Steph Talbot starting at small forward?
Yeah. I think it paid off dividends for us to go small and bring Jordan and Sue and Jewel together. And we'll look for opportunities to do that, and probably even more in the second half. I thought that helped us. But Steph will start the game. I thought defensively, she was really solid. And offensively, she's still kind of getting, used to the way we play and kind of where she fits in. But she was good defensively, and that scored points with me, as far as the situation that we're in.
And then I think tonight is your first time coaching against VJ as a head coach. What's that going to be like?
I mean, I started thinking the other day because I'm coaching almost about half the games against my former assistants now, if you look at the league. So first of all, it's not unusual, but VJ might be the first one that I coached and then was an assistant with me a long time. And I root for her. I mean, I root for my other assistants, but I know Vicky well enough to know that I better do a good job of coaching her or she'll outcoach me. I know how smart she is. She made me a living coming to San Antonio, and it's one of the reasons that situation turned around. And then she worked for me, and so I better have all the oars in the water because I know how bright she is and what she can do in a game. But I'm happy for Vicky. I want to see former players like Vicky in these situations. I applaud Dallas for the hire. And I think she's going to do wonderful things. But tonight, we're gonna have an old-fashioned battle of of Wings and Storm, but I couldn't be more happier when the game's over. I'm going to tell her, how proud I am of her, and we'll go on.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
All right, thanks, Coach. We'll talk to you again after the game. Thanks, everybody, for
All
joining
right.
us.
Thanks.